5 transformations. There's another one, but it gets a little bit trickier, and that's not something that we need to know this year, so we're not going to worry about it. But these are the 5 that we're going to look at, okay? The first one is if you're looking at the sign of the A. And if your A is negative, so if I have a negative sign here, that tells me that I'm going to flip it over the x-axis, only if it's negative. If it's not negative, then I'm not flipping anything over the x-axis. The second transformation we're looking just at the number. We're not looking at whether or not it's negative or positive. We're just looking at the number itself. So for example, if I had a -3 here, I would just be looking at the 3, okay? And if that number, A, is greater than 1, it is a stretch, okay? If the number is less than 1 but greater than 0, so a fraction, between 0 and 1, it is a compression. If inside the parentheses, if you notice that you have a negative, that is a reflection over the y-axis. And again, that's if it's inside the parentheses right here. If it's outside the parentheses like this one, that means it's a reflection over the x-axis. Inside the parentheses is a reflection over the y-axis. The H, just the H, tells you if it's a horizontal shift to the right. If it's a positive H, it's going to be to the right. Notice that this is written as x minus h. So what I mean by that is if you have x minus 3, here your h is 3. But if you see x minus -3, your h is -3, which remember, this is the same thing as x plus 3. So you want to write them in terms of negative, like x minus h. That way, that's the number that you're using. So, and then the k, if it's positive, you're going to go up. If it's negative, you're going to go down. So let's do a couple of examples here, okay? This first one, I noticed that I have a 2 right here. So because of this 2, this means that, I have a stretch by a factor of 2. This 4 right here tells me that I'm going 4 units to the right. And then this positive 2 right here tells me that I am going 2 units up. Okay, so this entire graph is stretched by a factor of 2. It's moved 4 units to the right, and it's shifted 2 units up. Let's try another one. All right, here we have this negative sign. So because of the negative, it's a reflection over the x-axis. Because of this 3 here, it is shifted 3 units right. On this next example, because of this 1/2, it is a compression. Oops, put a little extra s in there. By a factor, and I put an I in there, of 1/2. Because of this negative, it's reflected over the y-axis. And again, it's because the negative is inside the parentheses that it's reflected over the y-axis. Now here, notice that this really is -x minus -3. I want to write it so it's in terms of subtraction. And so because of that, that means this is really a -3 that we're looking at. So this is shifted right, or actually shifted left, 3 units because of the negative. Positive is to the right, negative is to the left. Here we've got a few things going on. Because of this negative, it's reflected over the x-axis. Because of the 1/3, it is a compression by a factor of 1/3. Because of the negative, it is reflected across the y-axis. Remember, because of this, this is really minus -2. which means our h here is -2. So it's shifted 2 units left because of the -2. And then because of this -5, it is shifted 5 units down. Okay, so this one kind of encompassed all of them, but we're only going to focus on these 5 transformations of quadratic functions.